Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we'll be previewing the New York Jets going up against the Denver Broncos on Thursday Night Football. But before we get started, just wanted to mention you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Also, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast. New episodes are dropping Wednesdays, so we can talk about the past game, talk about the game coming up, and answer your questions and get your reactions after the game. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, so make sure to subscribe wherever it is that you get your podcast. Lastly, let's talk about Manscaped. Manscaped.com, you can get yourself something nice using promo code JETS20, 20% off and free shipping on all items like the Lawnmower 3.0. Its skin-safe technology makes shaving really easy. No nicks, no annoying cuts. We know shaving can suck, and sometimes it's not very fun to shave, but you gotta. And it's definitely something to check out. I highly recommend it. It's all I've been using. All right, so let's get into this game. It has huge implications because if the New York Jets lose, there are rumors that they will be moving on from Adam Gase. How likely is that to happen? I don't know. I don't want to get too much hope in. I am wearing the shirt, which you can get in the link down below, but I am a little bit excited that if things go bad, which it has been in the first 3 weeks, that we might finally see a change. So let's take a look at the offenses. The Jets are 32nd in the league in points and 32nd in the league in yards. Worst offense in football. I don't think it's even close. As for Denver, they are 30th in the league in points and 29th in yards. Granted, they've been out with their starting quarterback for the last little bit, so that's going to be interesting. We'll get into who's starting in a little bit, but both offenses not really that great. On the defensive side, the Jets are 28th in points and 17th in yards, while the Broncos are 12th in points and 20th in yards. So the Broncos have a little bit of an edge, not much, but a little bit of an edge defensively as well. I think most Jets fans can agree that they are hoping for one last Adam Gase letdown, and then he can get out the door. I think long term that's probably best for what's to happen. I'm not necessarily saying, oh, you got to root for them to tank, you got to root for them to be awful, but if we could suffer through one more game, I think it could be a little bit easier to stomach the last 12 games of the season. There's been so many injuries for both of these teams, which is definitely going to be a storyline in this game. I mean, if you look at the Jets, Perryman really hasn't practiced. Crowder's been limited, but it seems like he is going to be good to go. All signs are indicating that he should be okay to go for Thursday, which would be huge for the New York Jets because with all due respect to Braxton Berrios, he can't be your best receiver. You just can't. I can't live in a world where Sam Darnold's best wide receiving target is Braxton Berrios. Hogan was limited. Both Fant and Becton were limited as well this week, which is interesting because those are your two tackle spots. Those are really important, and both those guys have played really well to start the year. I mean, is there been a better rookie offensive lineman than Mekhi Becton? I don't think so. He was stellar again before he got hurt in week 3. And as for Fant, I was critical of the Fant signing. I didn't know how much I was going to like it, but I think he's been good so far. Definitely better than the interior of the offensive line. And to me, I think you really need both those guys healthy. Chuma Doga was decent. I thought he looked okay. But McDermott, who came in for Mekhi Becton, was just awful. So maybe if you get lucky, one, if not both of those guys can go. I think you can survive with Chuma Edoga on one of the sides, hopefully the right side. But we'll see what happens. I don't want to rush Mekhi Becton back, but I'm certainly hoping that he is going to be good to go. As for the Broncos, Bryce Callahan, Shelby Harris, and Kareem Jackson all did not practice so far. Philip Lindsay's limited. So this is a banged up team. We know that they're going to be without Drew Lock, who was their starting quarterback. And to be honest with you, I was looking forward to this game because I'm a Drew Lock guy. I think he's going to be good, and I'm a Sam Darnold guy as well. So I was looking forward to that matchup, but unfortunately, I don't really think we're going to get that good of an offensive matchup. I really don't. It's going to be an ugly game. I got the over-under at 40. Bet the under if you got it at under 40. I would definitely take that. So the starting quarterback of the Denver Broncos is going to be Brett Rippon. Yes, that's a real person. I didn't know who he was until he came into the game last week, to be honest with you. He was an undrafted free agent out of Boise State in 2019. He went 8 of 9 for 53 yards and 1 pick. His one incompletion was a pick against Tampa Bay. This guy does not have a lot of experience. He's an undrafted free agent who was barely active for this team last year. When Joe Flacco got hurt, I believe he was active a couple of times, but I mean, this is just, they are down to the nitty gritty here. Jeff Driscoll might come in. Their coach said Driscoll might come in later, but Ripon is going to get, or Ripon, however you say his name, is going to get the start, and we'll see what happens. Again, don't expect a ton of offense this week. It's not going to be pretty. As for the New York Jets quarterback, Sam Darnold, well, it was a struggle last week. 17 of 29, 58.6%, 168 yards, 1 beautiful touchdown, 3 bad interceptions. So unfortunately, the bad outweighed the good this past week, and we're hoping for a bounce back performance. If you remember from his rookie year, he played against the Denver Broncos in 2018. He threw 3 touchdown passes in that game, had a couple of nice bombs to Robbie Anderson. So hopefully we see a little bit of that. Not too much, though, because I think we're rooting for a loss this week. Again, like I said, just hopefully it's just one more game. A couple of more days of Adam Gase, and we should be free. My prediction for Sam this week, I'm going to say he goes 18 to 32 for 180 yards, 1 passing touchdown, no turnovers. That's really what I'm concerned about. I think if he doesn't turn the ball over and plays a similar game to what he did against the 49ers, where he was just executing the poorly planned game plan by Adam Gase, then I'm okay with that. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, and I just don't want Sam to have another awful performance. If he's poorly coached, which I fully expect because we've seen that numerous times over the last 2 years, then we'll see what happens this week. But I think it's time to get into the predictions. So I'm going to predict the Broncos win this one 16-10. Gross. A 26-point performance. Take the under, like I said, at 40. Originally it was Broncos -3. Now it's down. I've seen it down to 1.5 or 1, whatever it is. I'm taking the Broncos. I know it's a road team. I know they're banged up, but I really don't trust this Jets team. I don't. My record's been 2-1 so far picking these games, and doesn't have to be against the spread. We could do just straight up win-loss. I'm taking it 16-10 Broncos. Let's check in with Casey and see who she likes this week. Casey's also on the Broncos. First time this year we have agreed on our picks. Casey sits at 1-2. I'm 2-1. So we'll see where this game goes. Me and her both like the Denver Broncos. I think most Jets fans are going to be Broncos fans this week because, like I said earlier in the show, if we can just suffer through one more bad performance, I'm okay with Greg Williams and Jim Bob Cooter the rest of the way. I really don't think it does us any good if the Jets win this game 14-10. And you move on with Adam Gase for the last 12 games of the year. That would be brutal. I think we need another clunker. Losing in prime time to the beat-up Broncos and scoring only 10 points again would be just that. So I think that's what we need to root for, Jets fans. It's not going to be pretty, but I think if we get through one more time, then we'll be free. Fire Gase, free Sam Darnold. Let's get after it. I'll talk to you next time. I'm Matt O'Leary.